I'm here, Chair, whenever you're.
Okay, we do not have legal minutes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Zoning Appeals for this Monday, October 7th. I'm happy to announce that we have a full complement of board members with the addition of Mr. Madison. And two of our board members are working remotely. The other two members are here with me. Our secretary is ill today. She's working remotely. But she is going to be able to read the preamble. So we're going to start with that. So we'll go to Ms. Goodwin. Do we have her connected, Mr. Bay?
I guess she's online. Looks like she just unmuted.
All right. In the event that she's not able to read the whole thing, are you able to pick up where she might drop off?
Yes.
That would be great. In fact, we might offer her.
Okay.
That. You ready?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
We can, and in the event that you need to discontinue reading, Mr. Bay will pick up for you if you need it. Okay? Can I ask you for something? Sorry. This is good. Oh. Okay. She's working remotely. Mr. Bay, why don't you just go ahead?
Will do. Hello, my name is Xavier Bay. Going to go ahead and read the preamble. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version of WebEx and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Okay, we're ready for the call to order.
All right, well, we've called to order,
Okay, yes.
so, so we'll go to the roll call if you'd like to do that. We'll just give Ms. Kukla a break.
Arlisha,
Present.
Zach Wilson, Lana Faith,
That's me.
and we got Marcus Mason,
Madison.
Madison, sorry.
Madison.
Madison. And Nina Holzer,
Present.
and Priscilla Roca.
Present.
Okay, Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
We have a quorum and a full board.
Full board.
Yay. Very excited about that. Okay, still no council people, correct? Or anyone for their proxy?
Correct, I did not see any council people or representatives online.
Awesome. Okay, we'll begin with calendar number 24-153. Ms. Holzer?
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I
Yes.
actually, this one came in a little late, this request for a postponement. This is from city planning, we'd like to request a postponement of calendar number 24-138. This is the address 756 East 105th Street. And the purpose for us asking to postpone this again is because the applicant wasn't able to make it to CPC when we scheduled them for last Friday to be heard by City Planning Commission. And they weren't able to get their materials in time, so we have asked them to postpone.
Okay, all right. So when I left the back office, we weren't sure if that was gonna be postponed or not, so I didn't call for the postponement, so thank you for letting us know. So calendar number 24-138 has been postponed. And do we have a date, Ms. Kukla, for that case?
Sure. Can you hear me now? I would just want to make sure.
Yep, loud and clear. Congested. but
Great,
loud
thank
and
you.
clear.
November? I
Yes,
apologize for the technical difficulties.
that's okay.
November 11th, we're thinking maybe November 11th. November 4th is pretty full, so let's do November 11th or November 18th, unless City Planning Commission believes they need more time.
Mr. Bay, I'm inclined to go with the 18th
November 18th.
to give enough time for everything to get processed. Are you comfortable with that?
Yes, Madam Chair, that should be enough time.
Okay. So Ms. Kukla will go to the November 18th for this case. To allow enough time.
Thank you.
Okay, so calendar number 24-138 is now postponed to November 18th. Okay, do we have any other surprise postponements or withdrawals?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Okay, cool. All right, so Ms. Holzer, back to 24-153, please.
Sounds good. Thank you. Our first case is calendar number 24-153. This is at 3840 St. Clair Avenue. Michelle Zamlin, owner, proposes an application for use as a restaurant in a general industry zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will go ahead and swear in all who's present for this matter. Is anybody present for this case? All right, anybody online present for this case?
If you're on the phone, hit *6 on your keypad to unmute yourself.
Madam Chair, this is Xavier Bay. I do see the applicant's name, either Michael or Michelle Zanlin is online. Just looks like they're muted.
All right. I believe it's Michelle, so Ms. Zamlin, if you'll unmute yourself, please.
Hello?
Yes, excellent.
Okay. This is my first time doing this, so I'm a little,
That's okay. This happens all the time. We're going to administer the oath. Ms. Wilson's going to tell you what to do.
All right, I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You will
Yes.
raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
okay, so okay, do I raise that little hand?
Okay, and do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and state your name and spell your name and give your address.
It's Michelle Zamlin, MICHELLEZAMLEN.
All right, and give your address.
Oh, 3840 St. Clair Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter?
No. Can I take the hand down?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing none, I'll send it back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. All right, Ms. Kukla, are you able to do the history of the property?
Yes, I think so, as long as you can hear me all right.
Yep, you're good.
Thank you. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1893, a permit was issued to 1906, a permit was issued to erect a barn. 1911, a permit was issued for alterations to a storefront. 1915, a permit was issued to relocate a smokehouse on the property. 1923, a permit was issued to repair the side of the building. And 1924, a permit was issued to change the storefront on the property. There are no variances on file, and we did see that in 2022, a complaint was made regarding illegal use, but there was no follow-up violation notice on that. That's all that I have. Thank you.
That was 1992 for the violation.
Sorry, that was 2022. And that was just a complaint about an illegal use. There was no follow-up violation notice issued.
Okay, that's important. All right, great, super. Interesting background. All right, we'll go to legal standard, please.
Shannon did something.
Yeah, does Shannon need to make a comment, or was she just signing off?
Could be that she was just signing out. I don't see a raised hand or a message in the chat.
All right.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you. All right. Ms. Samlin, now comes the part where you get to tell us what you want to do as it relates to the variance that you're seeking.
So actually I wasn't seeking a variance. I went down to get an occupancy permit because when I inherited the tavern in 2015, I had to get the entertainment license, and we have just a iTunes jukebox on the wall. And building and housing gave me a couple of pieces of documents that they gave me to use to get my permit for the music license. But then when I went down this year, they said I couldn't use that anymore, that I needed an occupancy permit. But because the business was opened in 1908, there ever was an occupancy permit. So they told me I had to do these site plans, which I did. And then they denied me because for my occupancy permit because they said that I didn't have parking. But there was never parking. It was St. Clair Avenue is where everyone parked because back in those days, you know, the buildings were so close together and everyone practically owned a business or a tavern on St. Clair. They lived above the bar and there wasn't any parking. And I know several places that are down there that don't have parking. They use the street. So the business was opened in 1908. I inherited in 2015 and it's still running the same way it was always run. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have a parking lot. The
Okay,
only parking I have is on St. Clair. And I mean, I know 3 other bar owners that are in the same situation, but they use St. Clair. 'Cause
all right. So give us an idea of your occupancy capacity. How many people do you have in the bar? Do you serve food as well?
yes, so it's a small bar. It's not, it services mostly like the neighborhood area. And yeah, so we have some tables in the back. There used to be a pool table back there, but I didn't want a pool table, so I put some round tables back there and some other tables. And then up front we have I think 8, 9 bar stools and then a few tables up front. But are you asking me how many I think it should seat or would seat or?
Yeah, what's your maximum capacity if the place was full?
If they were to sit in every chair I have in there?
Yeah,
Okay, so 7, 7 is 14, 18, 22, 24, 28, 32, 38, probably like 50.
okay. Super. All right, and it's.
But I don't have, I mean, it's a small little place and,
Yeah.
you know, we just do like burgers and it's you know, we don't have like a full blown dinner.
Yeah,
It's
your
just,
bar food probably, right? Burgers.
pardon me?
Bar food, burgers, nachos.
Yeah,
that
burgers,
kind of thing?
fries, yeah, some
Okay,
small appetizers, mozzarella sticks, things like that. But
okay.
yeah, I wouldn't say it's a place where you would come and have like a dinner.
Yeah, yeah,
You could get a
Um,
burger, a fry, chicken sandwich.
super. Mr. Bay, can you give me the dimensions of the frontage of the building, please?
I get to have about 20 feet, 2 inches
20 feet.
frontage.
Okay. All right, and this has been in operation since what year did you say?
1908.
1908. Okay, basically unmodified business operation. Okay. Board, any questions? We'll go to the people online. Ms. Roca, Ms. Holzer, anything?
No questions for me, Madam Chair.
No questions from me neither.
Super. Ms. Wilson, Mr. Madison? Yep. Okay, super. City planning?
So we actually have the city planner here, Kim Scott.
Oh,
here.
I didn't know you were for this one.
I am for this one.
Welcome.
Thank you. City planning is supportive of the variance for this. This is considered a small local operation, servicing the neighborhood, probably people that were working or are working close by, in close proximity. And I would imagine if they are working close by, they might walk across the street or walk a couple of blocks to it. I don't think that it's going to pose any kind of conflict for parking or traffic. So city planning will support the variance.
Super. I think we're in concurrence.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who wants to take the motion on this?
Madam Chair, I will move to approve calendar number 21-108 based on the testimony that we've heard today.
Super. Who'd like- Mr. Mattson, seconds. Okay. Ms. Kukla, do you want to call the vote?
Sure. Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Bath.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-153 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellant a letter, but please feel free to contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck to you.
And I would like to know more about and probably not the place to do this right now, but they said there was a complaint in 2022.
Ms. Kukla, who should she contact just to get information on that?
Yeah, because I mean, it is a very nice little quiet bar. It's not, I'm very surprised at that.
Yeah, let me just see who we can get you to contact.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do have a records administration office.
Okay.
We can, I can email her that information. If she wanted a more
Super.
complete picture, she can ask for all of the records that they have.
Okay.
Right. I would really be interested in that because
Yeah.
I didn't
So
like to
this-
hear that.
So watch your email. You'll get an email from Ms. Kukla, who is the
Okay.
Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. And she'll give you the information so that you can contact the appropriate department for that. Okay?
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Okay. Have a nice day.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Next time. All right. So we're moving on to calendar number 24-154. If you want to hear these together.
Yeah.
So Ms. Holzer, it's going to be calendar number 24-154 and 24-155, otherwise known as a BOZA bundle.
Sounds good, Madam Chair. And I'll just note that in the agenda that we received, calendar number 24-155 is written up slightly differently. It looks like it has the same code section. So would you like me to read what's on the screen or what's in the agenda?
Should read the agenda.
Read the agenda, Mr. Bay says.
So our next two cases, first, our calendar number 24-154. This is at 1515 East 123rd Street. MAUV LLC owner proposes to erect a three-story frame three-family residence on the front half of a shared lot with a three-story frame irregular shaped single-family residence with four-car detached concrete parking space in a D1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 5 for calendar number 24-154. Additionally, we have calendar number 24-155. This is at 1517 East 123rd Street. Again, MAUV LLC owner proposes to erect a three-story frame, irregular shaped single-family residence with four-car detached concrete parking space on the rear half of the lot shared with a three-story, three-family residence in a D1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 6. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'll go ahead and swear in all who are present for this matter. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Raise your right hand, reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, and give your address. I'll start with you.
I do. Susan Broadwater, SUMAN, address 15703 Madison Avenue, Lakewood, Ohio.
Okay, thank you. I'll go to you next.
I do. Paul Began, Began Architectural Design. Last name is spelled Beegan at 15703 Madison Avenue, Lakewood.
Okay, very good. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter?
Good morning. Yes, this is Ariel Washington, Cleveland City Planning, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Okay, and do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in this matter? right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Super. All right, Ms. Kugel, we'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There has been no change in the zoning since 1929. There are no variances on file. We found very little information in the Records Administration Office. We did find for the address of 1515, there was a permit issued in 1924 to relocate a garage on the property. There are no records for 1517 East 123rd Street. We didn't find any information in the more recent history in our Acela system for the 1515 East 123rd Street address either. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Okay. All right, ma'am, we'll go to legal standard.
For my purposes, they are the same. Madam Chair, members of the Board of Pelham is requesting area variances from the maximum gross floor area, minimum lot area, required front yard, interior side yard, minimum distance between dwellings, and required rear yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you very much. Ms. Broadwater, what is your role in this project?
I will be in architecture.
Oh, okay, super. All right. Which one of you is going to be the spokesperson?
Since she's looking at me, I guess it's me.
Tag, you're it.
Exactly right. Good morning. And I don't, here we go. This is great. Thank you, Mr. Beck. This lot on East 123rd, actually, what we have is a combined lot that was combined before the current owner purchased it, and through Planning Commission as well already with this project as well to re-separate the lots back as they were. As you can see from the lot, because of the configuration, the lot with the garage that's vacant is a little bit deeper on it. It is zoned multifamily, so the current owner wishes to construct actually two dwelling units on this particular property because it is zoned multifamily. And a majority of our variances are because we have two houses on one lot. And because once we separated those out, you know, we created some of the side yard variances. What is happening with this, there's a 3-family house that's going to be at the front, and then a 1-family house that is going to be at the back of the lot for this particular infill house. Keeping in mind with the character of the street, keep as far as where the houses are located and relative distance to property lines. Again, this is from our perspective, very normal variance requests. They are small lots. Yes, we're adding an additional house to this, but it is only multi-family, so I think we're trying to keep in mind with this characteristic of the neighborhood.
Okay. So they're side by side then, right? As opposed to front to back, it's not a piggyback situation.
So the house in the front is multi-level like you would find in any, 2 or 3-family house as far as separated by floors. The house in the back, and it's just a small additional unit
Okay.
on the back of the property.
And both structures, all rental units,
That is correct.
and all intended for long-term rental, no short-term.
This is correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you have anything to add to that? No? All right, you just want moral support and to put it on him. Okay, all right. Ms. Washington, do you want to add your comment?
The only thing I have for today is that I see that the applicant has taken some advice to I see the parking, the 3 parking spots in between the 2 houses on the lot to your right, versus the 4 that were there prior have been adjusted. This must be a special lot because it has been, what do I say, flipped or not flipped, consolidated, split up multiple times in its history. But planning is for this as long as all of the zoning codes are met.
Okay. All right, we'll go to questions. Ms. Roca, Ms. Holzer? It is an interesting parcel because it was consolidated and then it was separate, then consolidated, then split again. So.
No questions, no questions for me, Madam Chair.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Roca. Ms. Holzer, anything?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I just want to clarify what we have here. I heard you refer to front and back buildings, but on the screen, I'm seeing they're all side by side. So can you clarify that?
So thank you, Mr. Bay. There's a house, a single unit in the back of the lot there. So the gray out unit right where Mr. Bay's cursor is at is the second unit building that is on the lot there.
Okay.
Mr. Bay, it might add some clarity if we can zoom in on the actual
Yeah.
structures in question.
Let me get there.
There we go.
And does that unit, that one family unit have egress, like to get out, or are they coming past the other 2 lots to?
They'll come, the shared driveway is shared by actually all 3 units, right? So the existing 2-family house that is to the left there, will also share that drive as well too. Even though it's on a separate parcel, yes, there's an easement that's gonna be, reported for access to that.
Okay, that was gonna be my question, because I understand it's rental, but I mean, if you decide to sell it down the line.
Yes, no intents to further divide the lots at all. That they were. Ms. Kukla has been fantastic at helping us try to sort this particular one out again, because it was originally combined and needed to get it split back up again. And really the developer for this parcel is looking to meet the need, which I'm sure you're seeing a lot of for housing in this neighborhood, particularly for Case and Green University Hospitals and Cleveland Clinic, having some additional housing for all of the people that work at all these fine institutions. So,
Right. Is this an out-of-town developer?
no, it's local.
He's local. All right.
Okay, and last question. So the legal standard for this case requires that you would face a practical difficulty if you don't get this variance. Can you speak to that for us?
Yeah, I would guess even without the house to the back, we would be getting most of these, as far as, lot size, greater area, distance from property lines, all of the standard ones that we get. So there was, I'm sure at some point, even though we don't have, Muskoka doesn't have a record on it, that there probably was a house on this lot at some time in the past.
Right.
So, just when we put the front one in, because of the width of the lot there, we're gonna be, in the size of the lot, we're gonna meet all of those. So if we're building anything on these lots, which is typical for a lot of the work that we do on any of these info lots, none of the lots are big enough that meet the zoning code. And as you can see, we're not even putting, an unusually large house, on the front piece of it. As far as the rear yard pieces, again, because we're putting the accessory dwelling unit in the back of there, that's where we're getting the rear yard, ones coming up.
Good.
Those are my questions.
All right, excellent.
Questions?
No questions. Mr. Madison has no question. Okay. All right, you have anything to add that Ms. Washington didn't cover today?
No, I don't believe so.
All right, Ms. Kukla, did we have any correspondence on this?
No, I don't have anything in the file.
All right, super. Hearing no other questions or comments, then I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, motion to approve the variance request of calendar number 24-154 and calendar number 24-155 based on the recommendations of city planning and the testimony provided today.
Beautiful.
Madam Chair, I'll second.
Ms. Wilson takes the second. Ms. Kukla, if you'll call the vote, please.
Yes, Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Faith.
Yes.
Calendar numbers 24-154 and 24-155 are granted. They will be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellant a letter, but the appellant may feel free to contact our office next Wednesday for further instruction.
Super, thank you. So you're good? Now, are you also the Monroe addresses?
If we're in a record here.
I'm just gonna spend the morning with us? You didn't even bring, you have 7 today?
Six.
Thank you, dear.
But they're not all bundled.
No.
Okay, all right. Well, good for you.
All right, you can bring coffee and donuts.
We can't do that, but. All right, just for everyone's benefit, we have people outside the window here making some noise, which is of note because we're on the 5th floor. So hopefully they won't start drilling in the walls. All right. Sometimes it sounds like a dentist's office in here. All right, so we're gonna go to calendar number 24-155 and 24-156, Ms. Holzer.
Sounds good. Our next two cases are calendar number 24-156 at 2906 Monroe Avenue and calendar.
Okay, good. Sorry, that was my bad. I read the wrong thing.
Oh, that's okay. I'll continue.
Good.
As well as calendar number 24-157 at 2910 Monroe Avenue. And it looks like they're both written up the same and have the same code section. So Monroe Properties Clee LLC owner proposes to erect a 2-story frame single-family residence in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2 for both cases. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Super. Thank you, Ms. Holzer. We have a continuing.
New cases.
Okay.
New cases.
All right, well, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, give your address. I'll start with you.
I do. Susan Broadwater, last name Broadwatr. Vegan Architectural Design, 5703 Madison Avenue, Lakeville.
Thank you.
I do, Paul Began, Began Architectural Design, last name is B as a boy, EEGAN, Madison.
Anyone online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, you're not, oh, are you present for this?
Yes,
Oh.
and my son is supposed to be online too. He was having problems with the link.
Okay, please come forward and we'll swear you in. You can feel free to roll a chair up. Okay. All right. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Carlos Aviles, CARLOSAVILES, 2206 West 29th Street.
Okay. And I saw your son raise his hand online. I will go ahead and swear you in as well. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Anthony Aviles, AVILES, 9341 Corning Avenue, Mentor, Ohio, 44060.
Okay. Anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, and hearing nothing, back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. We'll take history of the property, Ms. Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We didn't find very many records for these two addresses. We did only find that in 1962, a permit was issued to erect a chain link fence on the property. And then, Madam Chair, the things that we have in the more recent history are irrelevant. Thank you.
All right. And nothing for 2910, huh?
That's correct. Both of the addresses.
Okay. All right. Sort of unremarkable. Okay, legal standard.
They are the same for both. Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting area variances from the minimum lot area and required rear yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you. All right. So what we'll do is, you're gonna be the spokesperson again, I'm assuming, Mr. Began.
You gonna look at me again for this one? Yes.
I'm running the meeting.
Okay. So we'll hear the statement from you, and then we'll go to you, sir, and your son for statement. Then you'll have an opportunity to respond to anything if you need to from their statements, and then we'll go to city planning, and then we'll go to questions, okay? All right, so go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bay, for doing that. As you can see, these are two small lots on Monroe Avenue. And again, I would imagine at some point, even though there's not record that there were houses on these particular two
Right.
lots, if you look at the rest of the pattern of this particular lot. This is south of Lorraine, a lot of empty lots that are being infilled over the last several years. We can go to the next one just so we can kind of see what we're planning. We have separate applications, but it's the same kind of thing here. One of the features of these particular lots here is that there is no rear alley to them, and not a lot of the houses actually have driveways and garages. So the unique feature for these particular two houses is that we're going to have an access easement or shared driveway configuration.
Okay.
For this, with an attached garage, again, because the lots are not very deep at all. That the garages would be attached and that the shared garages would allow each of the two houses to actually have off-street parking. So again, because the lots are so small, right, they're 77 feet deep, and trying to get so that we have some off-street parking for these, that's what's really generating a lot of the two variance requests that we have. One, small lots, we put a normal size house on this property is gonna, well, the lot itself, I think, is the first one. Yeah, minimum lots, for the zone, can't put any house on it. The fact that we are putting houses larger than the lot can do. And again, because we're doing attached garages, that's why we're not getting that minimum rear yard requirement for this.
Okay, so there is no existing curb cut. So we're adding a curb cut to get the shared drive.
Yes.
Okay. And what are the lot widths, Mr. Bay? Can you just read us the dimensions?
Yeah, the proposed lot widths are 40 feet and 6 inches
For both?
of both lots.
Okay. Okay, and what's the distance of the because you're gonna be hard surface from garage to garage, right?
That's not true. We actually have it so that we can actually have some landscaping,
In between?
the house and the driveway, both sides.
Nice, okay, all right, that's great. So what's that planting bed going to be, that landscape strip with flowers, do we know?
Looks like it'd be about 4 feet.
4 feet, okay, so we get something in there. So what does that give us for the, with the driveway then?
It's a 16-foot.
16 foot, okay. All right, super. So 2-car garage, 16 feet. Good, okay. All right, finishing materials,
It'll be vinyl siding to houses.
all the way around, okay. All right, super. And we're not gonna run into an issue with windows close to the, where the cars are gonna be parked?
No.
Okay,
Again, trying to do off-street parking with enclosed garages, so it's really
yeah,
a big
give us,
design challenge for this one, right? How do we do it? As you can see, when the houses go to the back, they are split actually over the back, so we have an appropriate amount of backup space out of each.
Yeah,
garage.
yeah. Yeah, I'm impressed that you got a landscape strip in there. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because that doesn't look like a lot. Okay, all right, sure, we'll go to you. Did you want to speak or do you want to toss it to your son?
I have a question, actually.
Okay,
It's showing 2 lots here, but currently, would it be 3 lots converted to 2?
Yes, we've gone through, like consolidating it and then splitting back, so consolidate to 30 and then splitting it into 2.
My concern is my home was built in 1870, so.
and where are you in relation to this, sir? Can you?
Can you go back to the? At the tip of the yellow, the corner of there?
Right here.
Yeah, right there. That's my home right
Okay, that's here.
there. So.
So you front on that street that's to the right,
West 29, yes.
West 29. What's that large building across the street from you?
That's a school.
That's the school, all right, that's what I thought that was, okay.
So the 2, where it shows the 2 lots now, that also would include the house next to it. That's what you're saying, you're gonna incorporate it. That's 3 lots there.
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, so. Can we go back? My concern is, you're asking for 4 feet from my home. Okay, so like I said, it was built in 1870. I have no control where they put it on the line, but it is technically 2 feet from the line.
Your existing,
My existing, and that is actually.
is that your home or do
That's-
we have a garage in the
No,
back?
no, that is my home. That's
That's your-
actually my bedroom that butts up right up against there.
Okay,
And my son's bedroom, my other son butts up there. My concern is, obviously, very small lot. Hopefully something big, that's, 35% less than what's required. And then the baggage is, 15% of what's actually required, which is the 26 feet. My concern is, once those are up, where people put their garbage at the back, the height of, right in front of my bedroom. Animals, I'm worried about animals getting in there to smell, I can't be able, and also, with a structure that big in front of my home, it's easier for criminals, to get in and have easy access with nobody being able to see them because they're hidden. To break a window to come in and such as. That's my concern for that side.
so security, the trash, what else?
Security, trash, animals, birds, that nature, garbage.
Okay, so those are the 2 big concerns.
Those are the big concerns for that. I also own the lot next to it, which is 2914, right there. So my concern with that one is they've already gotten a variance for the other side, so they come in closer than required. So they're gonna get another one on this side. Where does that leave my lot if I want to build something? My son wants to move down and we want to build, or if I want to sell it, if someone wants to build something. And variances are all given out and I'm squeezed in, where does that leave? Those are my concerns.
Okay, does your son have anything to add? Anthony, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'll just add the additional potential for there to be a sort of a nuisance situation with the garage door opening and closing, and a garage, cars pulling in at any hour of the night, less than 10 feet from a bedroom, an existing bedroom.
Okay,
So similar to what my father said, but just wanted to add that as well.
super, okay. Do we have plans for fencing?
Yes.
Okay. Board on board, 6 foot?
Board on board, 6 foot.
Okay. Do you want to address any of these other, we have, security is an issue, any plans for light sensor security lights?
No, I think that the these lots would be open to that. I know, they've been communicating with Mr. Vilas, previously, so I'm sure they'd be able to work out something if they wanted to have any additional lighting added to that. That's not the plan right now. As far as security, right now, the way that this neighborhood is with all of these open parcels, I think having more people in the neighborhood is actually going to make a lot more safer than it is currently. As far as trash goes, part of the reason of not only having the garages for the off-street parking, but to actually have a place to put those garbage. So there's not any plans to put any garbage cans out on the property adjacent to the fence or adjacent to Mr. Davis's yard. If you look at the pattern language for most of the other properties that are around here, including the one adjacent to the east here, we're actually a little bit farther away from the property line than the house also next to Mr. Davis's property. So that we make sure that we have a little bit more of a buffer away from the property line. To address Mr. Davis's comments about the side yard setbacks, we're actually within the zoning code requirements for the side yard setbacks. But if Mr. Davis wants to build another house on that property, if he's in conformance like we're on the side yard setbacks. Really, it's our rear yard setback that we're requesting the variance for. And again, because of the size of the lots being smaller than normal, as you've heard, right, we've already taken 3 really small lots and combined them to make them a little bit bigger so that we can have a little bit more space on these properties to put these houses in.
Okay. All right. Is the fencing shown on the site plan?
Yes, it's on the.
It's on there. Do we have a clip art of the fence? Okay. That'll be a condition, just on this one, okay? So if you'll submit that to us for the file. All right. Sir, so the security lights, we're not gonna make that a condition of the variance. It sounds like you've been in conversation with the developer for this infill, is that correct?
Not about this one, not about this.
Not about this one, okay. All right. Mr. Beegan, can you facilitate a conversation about the security lights?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'd like to make sure that that happens, but we're not gonna make a condition.
Yep.
I think that is crucial, just, to be good neighbors. So, so the fence, you'll have a 6 foot board on board fence, which will separate you from these 2 structures. Just in speculation as to your question, should you, down the road want to build, it will be dependent on the plans that you have drawn up. You may very well end up in front of us for a variance. There are certain neighborhoods in the city that almost everyone has to come before us because the lots are so small and the housing is dense. So, but again, as Mr. Beacon said, if you have something designed that is compliant, particularly with side yard setbacks, then you won't need a variance for that. But they're small lots, and typically these days, the houses exceed the square footage for what is typically specified. So you need a variance. So, we'd be happy to see you again if you need to come back. I think with the fencing, you're gonna have some landscaping in between the 2 driveways. Do we have any landscaping that's gonna go, in that rear yard setback?
There isn't any plan right now, again, with the fence in the back of the garage. My guess is there's not gonna be a lot of light to be able to get back there to.
Right,
to have
and still
everything-
allow for maintenance.
To have everything grow and yes, maintenance as well, too.
Yeah, okay. All right,
One question,
yes, sir.
for the fence, you're saying the fence, how much room are you gonna have between the fence and the garage?
4 feet.
Okay, so see, that's where me as a homeowner, I'm coming in, I'm trying to hide my garbage. That's exactly where I'm gonna put my garbage cans. If I'm living in that property, you know.
Okay. Mr. Began, let's make that a punch list item for a conversation with the developer too,
Okay,
if you would, please.
absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Began, as the architect, is gonna be your go-between, between you and the developer for this. I see Ms. Broadwater's making notes, so, I am trusting her to make sure that, that ends up on the punch list for you, okay? So we'll try and make sure that you have good neighbors and that you won't be, you know, you won't have issues. And that, you know, if you want to develop your other parcel down the road, that you have that opportunity as well, okay? We'll go to questions from the board. Ms. Holzer, anything?
No questions for me at this time.
Okay. Ms. Roca,
No questions for me, Madam Chair.
okay. Mr. Mattson,
No questions, Madam Chair?
Ms. Wilson,
I'm all set.
you're all set. Mr. Bay, you want to chime in on anything?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay representing city planning. We're generally supportive of the gross floor area variances requested today. And I understand the resident nearby is concerned. I guess, would there be, through the chair to the applicant, would there be any wiggle room to push the houses forward, possibly a foot more to ease that tension between the attached garage and the existing home to the rear?
Mr. Began, would you like to respond to Mr. Bay through the chair?
Yes, Madam Chair, to Mr. Bay, we would be open to moving the houses a little bit closer. It's always the balance between how much front yard space that we have and how much backyard space that we have with these tiny lots. But yes, obviously open to moving a little bit closer. The house that is immediately to the right, it's actually on the corner, so it's one of those old houses that became a storefront kind of place.
Yeah.
It's right up on the property line at the sidewalk. So there is room to move that if moving it another foot would help out.
What's that gonna give you for a front yard then?
We're at 7 foot. So that's so far away. I think when we planned these, there are also some developments further down on the same side of the street, it's 30. And we were staying in line with those houses where those were built, but there's obviously room to move.
So if I'm looking at this correctly, the house next to what you have proposed is like right on the front.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
which is Mr. Avila's.
okay.
No.
Oh, that's not yours. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So there is some concern, I mean, with the 4-foot setback in the rear being so close to this house, just, you know, once development start, lateral support and all that good stuff, so. I think moving it forward to the extent that you can would make me feel a little bit more comfortable about that. Hopefully it doesn't compromise too much with your porch.
So it sounds like you're amiable to making that move. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
All right. Knowing, of course, you'll have to submit plans.
Yes.
Yes.
That we understand that as well, as that, yeah. Obviously, you don't have a problem submitting with us at all.
Yeah.
That's what we do, so, happy to.
Kind of your
make
job.
that- Yeah, happy to make that work. Again, to Ms. Broadwater's point, right, we have been working with city planning, get that line set up with other development that is happening a little bit farther down the stream, the opposite side of, Mr. Vila's, adjacent property. But yes, absolutely open to moving those a little bit farther.
Okay.
That addresses some of the concerns.
All right. I think that's gonna make everybody happier. So, all right, Mr. Bay, satisfied?
Yep, that's all I had to say on this case.
Okay, so that will be a condition of the motion. And Ms. Broadwater has the punch list for everything else that are requests, though not conditions, with the exception of the clip art for the fence. Okay, who wants to take this one? Ms. Holzer, Ms. Roca, would you like to take one since the two people in person have done theirs? All right, I guess it's you.
Madam Chair, I can take it.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Roca.
Madam Chair, based on the testimony that we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar numbers 24-156 and 24-157 with the condition that the appellant move the houses 1 foot forward to the property line.
Right, for the front yard, great. And then we're also, friendly amendment is also the clip art for the fence. Super. You're sounding a little, are you ill too?
I am ill, yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's not a good thing after you came back from your travels. All
No,
right.
I think it's, yeah, I was jet lagged for a week and now I'm not feeling great,
Yeah,
so.
it's catching up to you. Okay. All right, so I'll take a second on Ms. Roca's motion.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Madison. Ms. Kukla, if you'll call the vote for us, please.
Sure, Madam Chair, before I do that, are we holding ratification until we receive updated drawings as well as the clip art?
How quickly can you turn around on that?
We can do it quickly.
All right,
That's fine.
all right. Yeah, okay, we're not gonna hold ratification. Mr. Began promises he'll get it to us within the week.
All right, thank you. Ms. Holzer?
I apologize. I'm having slight technical issues. Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Calendar numbers 24-156 and 24-157 are granted conditionally. We will ratify it next week, assuming that we receive the documents that Mr. Began promised. And then we will send Mr. Began a letter, and then he can also feel free to contact our office on Wednesday of next week for further instruction. Thank you.
Super. I think he knows the drill. All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming in. We really appreciate when members of the community come present.
Thank you all very much.
And the
for your
houses
time.
are coming forward a foot, so you'll have a little more room. All right, super. Okay. Moving on to 24-160, Ms. Holzer.
Thank you. And I apologize. I'm having to use a hotspot, so there's a little bit of a lag on my end. Hopefully it's
Okay.
not creating any real issues. Our next case is calendar number 24-160. This is at 3701 Siam Avenue. Jessica Pleasant, owner, proposes to erect a 3-story frame 2-family residence with a 20-foot by 20-foot detached garage in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from a strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 4. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will go ahead and swear in all who are present for this matter. You guys know how this goes. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, give your address. I'll start with you.
I do. Susan Broadwater, BROADWATER, 15703 Madison Avenue, Brooklyn.
Thank you.
I do, Paul Began, last name spelled Beegan, Began Architectural Design at 15703 Madison.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else present to speak in this matter? Online or in the room? Not seeing anyone in the room. Anyone online? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. More kidding, it is a marathon session for me. All right, we'll do history of the property, Ms. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1923, a permit was issued to erect a garage and a dwelling. In 1971, a permit was issued to demolish a one-story garage and erect a new one-story garage. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting area variances from the minimum lot area, maximum gross floor area, and minimum distance between dwellings requirement of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right. Are you gonna be
She
in
didn't
again?
look at me, but I'll do it.
I don't know, you're her boss, you could probably.
I guess technically that's supposed to be the case, but it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, okay, that's probably the way it works.
The developer for this particular parcel is a local developer, actually owns the house adjacent. A couple of years ago, we were with her husband to renovate that house. And so this is going to be their first new build project that they have done. Again, immediately it's adjacent to a house that they already own, so it'll be nice for them to continue on this street. Nothing super fancy about this, doing a two-family house on this particular lot. And again, the small size of the lots are really the reasons for the area variances. You can see just from looking at the footprint on our site plan right here, we're really not that much larger than either of the two adjacent houses as far as depth on the lot or even width for the one adjacent to there. We are maintaining the required 3 feet from our property line, which is required by zoning. This one's getting caught by another zoning code issue, which happens quite often, which is even if we get the minimum 3 feet, there is a minimum requirement as far as distance from the adjacent parcel on this one. Because we're also working in this neighborhood to get a driveway into a garage in the back to get off-street parking, which is not super typical for this our portion of this street. Is a little bit farther to the east of here. Is why the house is slid over a little bit more so that we can get that driveway in. So moving over, yes, we're maintaining our minimum required from setback, but because the adjacent house is so close to the property line, that's where we're not meeting that requirement for minimum distance between the existing adjacent houses.
So side by side double.
It's actually an up down double. What we wanted to do on the design on this one is actually provide them with their own separate front entrances, so they're not sharing their front porch. And give them, more than a typical up down two family. You walk in the door and go right up the steps. So
Yeah.
we wanted to make sure we had a little entry vestibule for the upstairs unit on this particular.
Okay, good. And again, ground floor being the primary residence or second floor?
The second floor has more area because we do have access to a third floor space.
Okay.
And a roof deck. But otherwise, other than that third floor space, they are the same area layout is supposed to be two bedroom.
So is the plan for the owner to occupy the second floor then?
Not in this one, no, this will also be a rental farm.
Okay, and again, long-term as opposed to short-term rental?
That is correct.
Okay, super. And what's our garage situation then?
They're
Gonna load off of, is there an
No,
alley?
there's a driveway on the left side of the house.
Oh, all right, there.
And again, that's the reason why we're not meeting that requirement for distance between adjacent houses on plan right side to this particular one. We could put the driveway on the right or the left, and if again, since she already owns the house on the right, it was she thought it was better for herself and for her neighbor to move it closer to the house that she would have.
So she owns the house
Correct.
to the right of it already. That's the one they own. Okay, super. Mr. Begg, can you just go through the drawings for us?
Yeah, first floor plan, again, what we wanted to do is create separate entrances or separate feeling entrances for this one, which is a little bit atypical, but a normal up-down two-family, so that there is, room to come downstairs and actually be able to get around the door before you walk right up the stairs. But essentially, the units are laid out the same in that they are, 2-bedroom, 2.5-bath houses. Again, the upstairs unit has additional bedroom and bathroom on the third floor.
Will both units have access to the rooftop?
No,
Only the second floor.
only the second floor.
All right. And there's our elevations. And our finishing material?
Again, that will be vinyl.
Vinyl, okay. All right. It looks like the top is board and batten now, or is that just?
Yes, the top will be board and batten, and it'll, primarily the front of the house will be board and batten with the horizontal siding
On the sides, okay, great. All right, does that conclude all of our, what was that?
Oh, he was just clarifying, we got a rendering, not provided in the zoning.
Okay, all right. Does that conclude our drawings, Mr. Bay?
Yes, Madam Chair, that's all I have in the package.
All right, super. Do you want to give us your statement on this?
This is Xavier Bay representing city planning. We're supportive of the variances. As you mentioned prior, any 21st century standards aren't really easy to be met with the small lot sizes of Cleveland, so we're generally supportive of these variances.
Okay, super. Can you just read off the dimensions of the lot for me, so I have in my notes?
Okay, it looks like there's a frontage of 35 feet. And side property lot line. It looks like it varies slightly because there's a small skew to the lot, but
At the longest measure.
longest measure is 105 feet. Sorry, that says 110 feet, 0.5.
All right. Super. All right, we'll go to questions.
I have just one question. The garage that is in the back of the lot, I understand that it's very close to the property line. We understand why. Is there a house on the back side of that property in the same way as the others, or is there some space back there?
There isn't, yet. I mean, I assume eventually those lots will have some additional construction on them, but as you can see, even if they went within, which we would typically do, and most developers in this area do, is work within the pattern language, is that there would not be a house that would be adjacent to that property line.
Mr. Manson, anything?
No questions?
All right. Ms. Holster, Ms. Rocco, anything?
No questions for me, Madam Chair.
Super.
No questions from me neither.
All right. Speeding right through this. Relatively speaking. All right. I'll take a motion, please.
Madam Chair, based on the testimony that we've heard, I would move that we approve calendar number 24-157.
Madam Chair, Board Member Roca, I second.
Okay, I think we're at 160.
Correct.
I think we're at 160, not 157.
Why did I say 157?
Because I misspoke previously.
Oh, it's on the agenda. I'm sorry. Okay, so I move that we approve calendar number 160.
Okay, great. Second, please.
Second.
All right, Mr. Bannister for the second. Ms. Kukla, if you want to call the vote.
Sure. Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Bay.
Yes.
Calendar 24-160 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellant a letter, but please feel free to contact our office on next Wednesday for further instruction.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, sure does. Okay. All right, so we're on to 24-162. Are you here for this case, sir?
Yes, I'm the property owner.
All right, pull your chair up or pull a chair up and join the party. Like the jacket. All right, well, go ahead. Ms.
All right.
Kukla?
I will, I'll read in the case.
Yep, read the case, please.
All right. Our next, I believe, last case is calendar number 24-162. This is at 865 Jefferson Avenue. Tim McDonough, owner, proposes to erect a 4-story frame 2-family residence with attached garage in a C1 general retail business district. The owner appeals to relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will go ahead and swear in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand to reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, and give your address. I'll start with you.
I do, Susan Barwater, last name BROATER, on 57039 Sonoma Boulevard.
Thank you.
I do, Paul Beegan, last name spelled Beegan, Beegan Architectural Design at 15703 Madison.
I do, Cindy Brown, CPA, ONL, GH, address 6075, CPA Drive, goes on the top of it.
Super. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter? I see no one, so back to you, Madam Chair.
All right. What's that?
Oh, wait, we do have a raised hand. I'm sorry.
Oh, Miss Gregonis, are you with us today?
Hi, yeah, I'm in sleuth mode. I'm here. Good morning.
You are in sleuth mode. We
And
almost
members of the
missed you.
board.
How have you
am
been?
Good. I almost came in person today, thinking it might be a good time to start doing that. But anyway, hi everyone. Donna Gregonis with Tremont West Development Corporation.
All right, and do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are going to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, give us your address.
I do, Donna Gregonis. Our office is located at 2406 Professor Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Super. All right. We've read the case. We'll take history of the property from Mr. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We found in our Records Administration Office that in 1916, a permit was issued to erect a 2-story dwelling on the property. There are no variances on file, and we did find that in 2009, a permit was issued for residential demolition. But then in 2015, we do see that there was a rental registration issued to the property. I'm not sure if that is out of order, but again, we saw the demolition in 2009 and then the rental registration in 2015. Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that's all that I have that's relevant. Thanks.
Super, thanks. She's sounding more and more miserable every minute. It's so sad. We'll go history of the property.
Okay, legal stand. Madam Chair, members of the board.
Sorry, legal standard.
Appellant is requesting area variances from the accessory attached garage, maximum gross floor area, minimum lot area, and required rear yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granted variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning.
Okay, super. Tag, you're it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. McDonough came and said, he wanted to do something on this parcel. As you have seen today, we do a lot of these infill houses on these little tiny lots, and it's very tiny. For normally anything that we do. As you can see, it is a very small lot. There is a house built on the house adjacent, and those familiar with this particular neighborhood, Albedagas, right in the corner there, occupies a similar size lots. So what Mr. McDonough would like to do is actually put in a two-family house onto this particular lot. And just for the benefit of the board, we've met several times with planning regarding this particular parcel. We also met with Landmark staff on this, even though it's not in a landmarks district, it's landmarks district adjacent. So we wanted to make sure that we are working in alignment with what they want to do. Biggest concern putting this particular project together was front loader garage, which is one of the variances that we are requesting for this one. A lot of the houses on the street, a little bit farther away from this, do have curb cuts and driveways. Not all of them have garages, so even the house adjacent right there, there's a driveway that they park. There's not room for a garage. So we kind of wanted to make sure that he was able to try to get off-street parking onto this lot. That was the majority of our work working through with planning and with landmark staff to try to get an off-street parking space that worked in this little tiny lot. So you see when we get into the drawings, a lot of efforts made to push the garage as far back as we could on the lot and hide it with some of the house as well too, so that they didn't kind of address having a front facing garage, which is a little bit atypical for this particular part.
The zoning section is done.
What do we've got? What's going on there, Mr. Bay?
I just muted them. It looks like they joined the wrong TV.
Yeah.
So as you can see, you know, the lot line at the street side, sidewalk side is zero for most of the houses along here, and we're pretty close to that as well too. We're meeting at least the minimum required setbacks from side lines. Obviously, because this whole lot is only 50 feet deep, if we had to maintain the I think it's a 24-foot side backyard, we would be half of the lot.
Yeah.
For this particular one. I think it works a little bit to our advantage with this particular lot too, is the parcel directly behind it. That is the driveway side of the adjacent house. So we do need that minimum required separation between structures on the back side, which is the rear yard piece that we're concerned about. Not meeting that on the sides, obviously, because of the location of the existing structures up there. Maybe Mr. Day, if you want to go through and show the rest of the drawing.
Before we proceed, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask Mr. Bay, can you just, again, read us those lot dimensions, so we have those in our notes? Mr. Beegan just stated that we have a 50-foot depth on the lot, is that correct?
Madam Chair, yes, this is Xavier Bay, correct. The depth of the lot seems to be 50 feet and the width is 33 feet.
I think we're just gonna call that a micro lot. Yeah, right? It's like half and half of going in both directions. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. We can proceed now without plan views.
Yeah, so this is in up down to family. The way that we work our separate entrances, and which again is important to planning, is to have separate entrances as much as possible. We actually have a side yard, our side entrance to the lower units, and the front porch is the access to the upper floors units to that one. We can go on to the next one, and you can see on this plan too, we did push the garage pretty far back. The second floor extends out over the top of where the garage is to minimize the impact of that front yard facing garage as much as
Okay.
possible. And you can see that Mr. Bay on the next one's on the elevations for the units, you can kind of see there. So, you know, working in line as far as the design and the pattern language of the rest of the houses on the street. Again, working with Landmark staff to work through the massing of the house itself with the front porches and spacing of our windows. And working to get that front yard facing garage pushed back as far as possible.
So single bay, oh, and there's the side entrance.
Yeah.
And that goes to the first floor, right?
That is correct.
And so the front porch entrance only goes to the second floor?
That's correct.
Okay. And then we have the third floor?
Yes, so the second floor unit is typical, again, with a 33 by 50 foot lot, obviously. The building itself is even smaller than that, right? Where,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of tiny. So the second, the upper level unit is living floor on its first floor with bedroom floor above that.
What's our square footage per unit?
I don't recall off the top of my head. I do know that,
Slide of the
yeah,
representation with the square footage.
Well, I think we've got,
In that top
yeah,
left corner, we have square footage of each floor. So we have 717 for the first floor, almost 1,045 for the second floor. Same for the third floor, and then 568 for the fourth floor.
okay. All right. Okay, does that conclude everything from the architectural presentation?
yes.
All right, we'll go to you, sir, if you have any comments you'd like to add for your project.
Basically, I just agree with everything that Paul said. We have put a lot of work into this house, from the first design to where it is now. I think they would be different, just because we wanted to do things like ours to ensure it stayed out on the street. We originally think that a 2-car garage, we went to a 1-car, and unfortunately towards the back, but, I'm really happy with it. Paul's been different. So,
How many iterations did you go through?
Too
many. Good for you, not so good for you. Okay. And the garage, does it go 2 cars deep or is it just 1 car deep?
It's just 1 car deep.
Okay, all right. All right, okay. Ms. Gregonas, do you want to chime in?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the commission and city planning, and the applicants, and hello, Mr. Beacon. So after, I know I spoke with the applicant in 2023, and we briefly discussed that a front-loaded garage would be very much against what typically city planning in the neighborhood would advocate for. So I do know he was aware of that. And it looks like you have worked very closely with Mr. Bay and others at Planning Commission. But I do know that, we would strongly recommend reconsidering the front-facing garage design, as it's, especially given the general retail district's high pedestrian traffic here. So this is a very walked, a very high traffic area in the neighborhood, and the library is right across the street. And front-loaded garages are very much out of character in this area. And I know that the City Planning Commission has made it a priority to discourage these types of designs as well. And I know BZA has as well. And in recent conversations with people looking at properties in the neighborhood, there have been many others interested in front-loaded garages near the site. And our concern would be that approving this could set a precedent that moves the neighborhood away from its historic character that everyone loves so much. And then I wanted to ask, and I didn't know if you mentioned this at all, has there been any movement on exploring the possibility of a shared driveway with the neighbor? This could be something that would be a more compatible solution for the neighborhood. So sorry to be the bearer of negative comments, but here I am. Thanks, guys.
That's okay. All right. Would you like to respond to the concerns? Shared
I
driveway?
would have to ask Mr. McDonough to talk about, because I know we did talk about that at one point in time. And the shared driveway would actually have to be something planned from the south side. I don't remember.
Yeah, so
When you talk to them, when you reach out to them with their comments.
yeah, so the property directly to the right of mine, the owner of that property actually sold it.
Okay.
South, and the driveway that's currently there, I believe about 4 feet of it's on my property, so it wouldn't work to have a shared driveway there. Also with the 10 years support for the front of the house, that house being there, wouldn't allow for the shared driveway. Right now, they are using it as a driveway, 2 cars do park there, so there's a curb cut there. So cars are pointing and pointing out, and to
Don.
it's not outside actually. To Donna's point of the pedestrian walk area, since there's a driveway there, cars are going in and out already. Before the garage.
What's our distance off the street?
No,
We have a little driveway
A little
space.
over 16 feet.
Little over, so
17.2.
17.2. All right. So full length of a car.
Madam Chair, it was very hard to hear that. I'm having a hard time understanding why the shared driveway could not work.
Okay. If you want to
Reiterate what he
Yeah.
said. We couldn't
Yeah,
hear.
we're gonna get him a little closer to the mic. And we'll ask him to repeat that. So for Ms. Roca's benefit, if you can just reiterate the statement about what the situation was with the shared driveway.
Yeah, so for the shared driveway, you can see the width between my house and the existing one. I believe it says 8'4". Is that correct?
Yes.
So that would not be enough space for a car to park. Well, possibly you can't open the doors and actually get out of the vehicle. So a shared driveway would not work. And one thing in addition to that, the current driveway that is there for the house to the right, about 4 feet of that driveway is currently on my property. So that has to be cut out as well.
Did you hear that okay, Ms. Roca?
I was able to hear that. Thank you.
All right, super. Mr. Bay, if you can go to the elevation showing us the front and the garage door. Okay. Yeah, is that what's actually been specified?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a piece of flip art with that? Did you send that? Okay, yeah, we'll have that. Okay, we'll go to you, Mr. Bay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay representing city planning. Typically, we're not supportive of front loaded garages. But the applicant has worked a lot through many renditions of this project with myself and the neighborhood planner for the area, Brittany Pavone. And so we tried to, make this as palatable as possible, trying to step this front loaded garage back further back into the lot. And so, we try to do the best we could with the design and the developer's wants and needs for the project. So that's all I really have to say on this. I leave the decision to you, to the board, if they continue forward with improving the front loaded garage. We tried to do all we could with the applicant and the architect to make these plans more palatable.
Okay. Did we have any conversation with, specifying a garage door that might have more glazing?
Yeah.
Consistent with the architectural style?
It's a good comment. This is Xavier Bay to the chair. It's a good comment. We haven't really discussed too much into the glazing, more so just how far back into step the opening of the garage.
Okay, all right. Ms. Roca, do you have any further questions?
Madam Chair, I just want to note for the record, I mean, front loaded garages are very atypical in this neighborhood. In fact, I think if you look around Tremont, you might not even see one. This is a very challenging project given the nature of the lot size, but I would like the appellant to try to explore any other options with the garage.
Okay. Once again, how many iterations have you been through?
This is probably 7 or 8.
Okay, all right,
I
so
don't
they're at the 7th or 8th
Mr. Ray might
iteration.
know too, because he's seen several of them.
Yeah,
himself, so.
and they have been working with city planning through this. And they also went before landmarks, though it's not in a landmark district, it being landmark adjacent. Okay, we're gonna go to other questions.
Sure, but
Yeah.
just one additional comment. Yes, front loaded garages are kind of atypical, but again, a lot on the street, there are driveways that have been put in and curb cuts. And all that happens right now is people just park out on the driveways adjacent to their houses.
Right.
And I know if we were to propose that, we'd be coming in asking for a variance to allow us to park a car
Right.
on a driveway next to a house,
Which would be within 10 feet of the window. Ms. Roca, I think you'll recall this too, the conversations we've had with applicants that have only, or want to have only a parking pad. And that ends up putting the car within 10 feet of a window next to the house. So, I think, we want to be sensitive about that as well. And I think the appellant has mentioned that there has been an existing curb cut with traffic cars entering and exiting from the curb cut without a garage there. So just want to reiterate those points of information. Ms. Holzer, any questions from you?
I apologize if I missed this. Based off of the conversation, I'm curious if there are any other examples of front-loaded garages on this block or nearby.
Okay. Gentlemen? Okay, speak up for the mic.
Yes, there is actually. There's one right down Tremont Avenue. And I have photos that I could send in if you'd like.
Okay. All right. How many houses away is that?
I say like 7.
Okay. Did you hear that, Ms. Holzer? There's another house, 7 houses away. The applicant has photographs he's willing to submit if we should so choose. Okay, we'll go to Ms. Wilson.
Yes, so I want to clarify, the garage is parallel to your neighbor's driveway?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and so it's a two-family house, but you accommodate one car in the garage. What's the plan for parking for that second family unit?
So for the second family unit, I have spoke with the property owner to the south of me. He has a narrow driveway, and a parking lot behind him. I asked if I had tenant, would they be able to rent a parking spot here? He said he was okay with that. And then also with moving the garage back further, it allows for a car to park in the driveway while it's parked. Not ideal, but, you know.
Okay, and in terms of the character of this neighborhood, is it fair to say that other homes in the neighborhoods have curb cuts and driveways where cars pull in and out, even if there's not like a front-loaded garage? Is that fair to say?
Yes, the house directly, or the property directly to the right. That's exactly that.
Okay.
I think the following houses have that as well.
Yeah, it's not just that.
Yeah, the following lots have deeper lots, they have parking. for that.
Okay.
So no garage, but they have a curb cut and a drive, and they're parking at the rear of the yard. Okay. All right. Did any of your photographs or when you were on site, did you happen to survey any of the other situations? Mr. Bay?
On this top photo, this is Xavier Bay to the chair. The top photo here, you can see the context, the applicant speaking to the next door neighbor resident having a curb cut here, driveway. Yeah, I guess you can see actually on this photo here, another inlet coming in between this van and a city car. Through my familiarity with the neighborhood of Tremont, there's it's a mixed bag. You know, some streets don't have any curb cuts at all. Some streets may have a few front-loaded garages that were approved prior to the changes of our zoning code. I guess I would allow Donna Gregonis to speak more to the context of the neighborhood.
Okay. So, any recent changes in the code that have changed the impact of this?
Yeah,
With regard to the parking?
Yes and no. You might remember a couple of months ago, there was another front-loaded garage situation that I believe was approved a bit deeper into the Tremont neighborhood, further northeast from this site.
Correct.
That's the most I can recall and speak to.
Right, further away. I mean, Jefferson's sort of in the heart of it. Okay, all right.
I have one question too.
Yes, go ahead.
When it comes to the spirit of the zoning code, is there any difference between a front-loaded garage and just driveway, which also loads into the same street?
This is Xavier Bay through the chair. Generally speaking, the zoning code wouldn't allow designated parking space within 10 feet of an opening, meaning a window or door on the first story of a home. And so in nature, something of that nature, generally speaking, is not permissible. You know, just to pull your car straight into a driveway and park it adjacent to a window. I mean, yeah, I think that's the most I could really speak to the difference, you know, between a detached or attached garage. These typically are enclosed spaces in the rear of lots.
If you'll recall, I think you were with us at that point. We had a rather difficult case where someone had a curb cut and wanted to just put the drive up to the house because you couldn't get the drive past the house to the yard. And we postponed and they came back again and it fell into that situation. And so it had to be tonight. So that's my concern too, is that we end up with people that are using, you know, a parking pad in front of the house, even though we have a curb cut. You know? So, because that's, I think, a difficult situation because then you've got cars next to the structures, which is a neighborhood. So, Mr. Madison, we'll go to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think my questions are more in line with just the design of the garage itself. About the door, you know, in terms of possibilities of finding something that might look historic. I don't know if that's something, that's.
That was my,
possible.
that was a good catch, because that was where I was going with the question about the glazing.
Is that, Madam Chair, through you, is that something that we could look at as a possible condition, or is that out of line?
Well, let's discuss, do we have any other options for that, for that garage door that might be perhaps a little more transparent, a little more aesthetic than just the typical transom windows at the top of the panel?
We can definitely, Madam Chair, we can, to Mr. Madison, yes, we can definitely take a look at that again. From where we started to where we are now, through all the iterations, you know, getting there. Yes, I think some further modifications to move us to something that's more open and accountable, open to working with our planner and Mr. Bay again to get and even for Landmarks staff again if necessary to get something that's appropriate.
Okay, I think,
If this board feels
I
that
mean,
way.
your landmarks adjacent, not
Yeah.
necessarily in the district. But my sense is with this particular garage door that it is looking very white and suburban.
Mhm.
If you understand what I mean, you know, it probably is very cost effective, but I feel like in this situation, there might be a better choice that might make things more palatable for all parties involved. If that's agreeable. Are you amenable to that?
Definitely agree. Any grounds for me.
Okay, all right. All
I
right.
didn't want to say that.
He said it for you, so there you go. All right. All right. So with that in mind,
Madam Chair, I do have another question.
yes, Ms. Holzer.
So I'm curious if the architect or owner can speak to the hardship or feasibility of the project if they are not granted a variance related to the garage. I'm curious if they were considered any drawings where there was not parking on site. I know that that creates some concerns around on-street parking, and given, you know, that also can have a spillover effect on the neighborhood. But again, I'm curious what, you know, what other options were explored for parking, and again, if they are not awarded this variance, what the feasibility of this project is.
Okay, Ms. Holzer. You took Ms. Wilson's question, didn't you? That's good for you.
Snuck in.
Yes, all right. And I think to add to that question, we're gonna let you both respond, but I think to add to that, I'd like you to revisit the comment that you made about the possibility of parking with the neighbor to the south that has offered you perhaps some, you have just a discussion at this point. You have,
Just a verbal discussion for time.
yeah, is that a situation where you could get a contractual agreement, do you think?
I can look into it.
Okay, all right. So I'll let you respond to Ms. Holzer's question.
Yeah, I mean, here's, Ms. Olson, to the chair. We did look at, that at the beginning, when Mr. McDonough first came into our office, it said this lot is even smaller than all of the other very small lots that we tend to work in, including neighborhoods. Tremont is pretty dense as far as its on-street parking goes. As I'm down there quite often, even in particular on this section of the street, Tremont West offices are just right down at the corner there. Always try to find a spot on the street is very difficult on there, especially with a bodega at the corner as well too, if it's during the day at all. Because if you haven't gotten a sandwich there, definitely stop by and grab a sandwich there because it's a great place. So the is there parking on the street? Yes, there is parking on the street. The fact that we already have a curb cut, there. The fact that the other curb cuts that are on the street, there are a lot of people that are actually just parking on their driveways. Wanted to try to find, as best way as we can, to get some off-street parking, keep one less car off of the streets, as much as possible. So the hardship for this particular lot, right, is that there really is no other place to do on-street parking. So we're either asking a variance for a front-loaded garage, again, which we have worked many different options to try to get this front-facing garage to work right, that is acceptable to planning and to landmark staff, right? We're asking for a variance for not having parking for a unit, right? There, we're gonna be asking for a variance for something. And again, I think with the work that we've done to try to make this more palatable, could the house be built without any off-street parking? Can we ask for a variance for that? Probably. I let Mr. McDonough speak to that. I don't think that he would probably move forward with the project if that were the case.
Does that answer your question, Ms. Holzer?
It does. And I do, and without getting into a long conversation with the CDC, I'm just curious, from Donna's perspective then,
right,
if the CDC would, at least when thinking about what's going on the street, rather see more on-street parking, or understand that given the limitations of this parcel, this is the only option for the owner.
Right. Okay. All right. Sort of what I'm seeing, Donna, real quick, do you want to respond to Ms. Holzer's comment there?
Hi, Nina. Thank you for your thoughtful question. I wish I had known that this was coming a little sooner, so we could have brought this before the neighborhood at least, to get an official stance on what the organization would say. Typically, I would say this is very much out of context, especially in this highly walkable part of the neighborhood. Parking is an issue, but that is why we were trying to encourage them to, see if there was a way to, you could even potentially do a two-bay garage, but if you were able to share that with the neighboring drive. Because there have been some others that have done in the neighborhood, but it hasn't been in quite a context like this. So this is a little bit more of a walkable, more of the business district energy. And I will say that this will be something that other businesses are going to look at and other people are going to look at in advocating for their front-loaded garages that we've been so hard at fighting.
Right.
So thank you.
Well, I'll respond to that by saying, we take every case as a one-on-one basis, and should anyone else come before us, they'll go through this same process. So I think where we stand now, and your arguments with regard to the shared driveway was heard. We've heard response to that from the appellant with regard to what the situation is with the neighbor. There is an existing curb cut. There has been parking on the existing driveway. The appellant and the project team is amenable to re-specifying their garage door in conjunction with working with city planning and the Landmarks Commission to something that might be more aesthetic, might have more glazing, and might be more in keeping with the street frontage. The applicant has also testified that he is willing to talk to his neighbor to the south and possibly obtain a contractual agreement. I'll leave it up to the board, whoever drafts this motion, as to whether or not that needs to be a condition or not. The garage door will be a condition. So that's where we stand on this. So I think we've heard all the testimony and we've had a fairly rigorous discussion, so I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, a motion to approve the variance request of calendar number 24-162 based on the recommendation of support by city planning with the condition to submit images of a garage door that aligns with the look, feel, and historic nature of the Tremont neighborhood.
Right. Do you want to make the parking contract a condition or no?
Yes, Madam Chair. Through you, I would like to make the parking contract part of the condition as well.
Okay, that way we're gonna cover our bases, okay? You'll have, you'll be able to park, should we vote to approve this, you'll have, some additional parking for both units, alleviating any, more dense street parking situation, okay? All right, I'll take a second if we have one. Don't everyone jump at once.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wilson. All right. Okay. All right, Ms. Kukla, we'll call the vote, please.
And just for clarification, we're going to hold ratification until we receive that parking agreement, as well as the image showing the new garage door.
That's correct. They're gonna be able to do that, I think, in fairly expedient order. So we will, we'll hold that ratification.
All right, thank you. Ms. Holzer?
No.
Ms. Roca?
No.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
And Ms. Faith?
Yes.
All right, calendar number 24-162 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive the parking agreement as well as a cut sheet of the new garage door, which would be in line with the historic nature of the area. Once we receive those documents, we will ratify the case and send the appellant a letter.
Okay, super.
Thank you very much.
Fortunate for you, we have a 5-member board.
Yes.
At this particular point. All right.
Yes, sir.
So once you submit those documents, then we can move to ratification. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for coming in. In a previous life, I sold men's clothing, so I zoom in on things like that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I do have one question. When I talked to that neighbor about the contract, he doesn't agree.
Then you have a problem.
Okay. I mean, I can leave the tenant's car parked in the driveway. I'll do that.
We're trying to avoid, anything that's gonna be a site plan problem. Okay, so I would be as,
First, like, this option.
yes, and ingratiating.
I just wanted to
Yes.
check that.
Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Beegan, a pleasure.
Yep.
Ms. Broadwater,
Thank you.
thanks for keeping him aligned.
You noticed that. You noticed that.
Have a good day. All right. 24-138, our last item was postponed, so that takes care of our agenda today.
I sleep till 157. Did we not hear that case?
Oh, we did. It was filed. It was filed.
Oh, I was awake. Okay.
You were awake. Yes, you were awake. All right. Ms. Kukla, on my old business, I don't have highlighting on cases. So can you tell me which ones we're looking at?
We postponed all cases last Monday. There were no motions or actions.
Okay, all right, okay. So tell us about the request to reschedule.
So this old business sheet was sent to you all. You may be aware of this case, 21-108 at 6806 Harvard. The 8th District is sending it back to us for review. And we set the date as October 21st, but the appellant's attorney has a conflict and is requesting a new date.
All right, have we had discussion as to when their availability might be?
He stated that any time after the 21st works for him.
All right, so that sounds like we're going into November with them.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. So, and I think you said the 4th is full?
Actually, the 4th, we knew this was coming, so the 4th we've already taken into consideration.
Okay,
So this would be the last case that we'll put on that date.
all right, so we could accommodate this then on the 4th then, comfortably.
Yes, that's right.
All right, super. All right, so calendar number 21-108, at the request of the appellant's attorney, is being postponed to November 4th of
Yes, ma'am.
2024. All right, do we have anything else
No, that'll do it.
for old business? All right, that brings us to October 14th. Does anyone know that they're going to be absent or have to recuse themselves?
Madam Chair, do we have the agenda for that date? I don't know that I have that.
I have it in hand. I don't, did it, Ms. Kukla, did the 14th agenda go out?
You know, I may not have dropped into the Dropbox. Let me send it to you right now.
Okay. All right, so, Ms. Kukla's gonna send out the 14th agenda. Please review it. And respond to Ms. Kukla with absences or recusals by close of business on Wednesday, please. Okay, anything else, anyone? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you. Feel better, Ms. Roca.
Thank you very much.
We're looking forward to seeing pictures of the trips from you and Ms. Holzer when we see you back with your smiling faces in person.
Hope to see you soon.
Okay.